to deal with a third dimensional motherfucker. What is up, Alien Army? I am Oculus, the alien next door, purveyor of esoteric lore. And on this channel, we discuss everything out of this world. So today's topic, we're going to be talking about third dimensional motherfuckers and those who are operating predominantly on the 3D plane, or perhaps entirely on the 3D plane. First off, I do want to say that this does not mean that these individuals are necessarily bad folks, because, you know, you have some motherfuckers that are into spirituality and they are fucking assholes too. You can have third dimensional motherfuckers who are cool as shit, but you gotta just deal with them in a different way. So here's the breakdown. When someone is operating predominantly from a third dimensional standpoint, this does not mean that they are not connected to source. This just means that they are not aware that they are connected to source. So when someone is not aware, source is always there and it's trying to get the attention of the third dimensional motherfucker, but that motherfucker, maybe in this lifetime, it wasn't what they signed up to do when they entered a third dimensional vessel. So what does this mean? This means that someone who is operating predominantly from a 3D state of mind point of view, that their soul has not chosen to elevate to higher consciousness whilst their physical lifetime in that particular vehicle. So some, they might just remain on the 3D plane for their entire experience in that body. So they're just walking around oblivious. And then that is what I would refer to as a young soul, someone who in the earth matrix has incarnated and they're very early along in their journey, so that they're not even really on the path, right? Because you kind of have to go through a few lifetimes before you're really on the path of knowing that you are more than just a meat suit. So how do you deal with these people? Now, first off, I do want to say that not everyone who is into spirituality is fucking nice. Not everyone that is on the 3D plane is a fucking asshole. It depends where they're at in their journey. So you can be getting along with people that are operating on a 3D plane, but it's times when you are trying to get a point across to them, or you're trying to help them understand something. Listen, sometimes you gotta let that shit go.
Believe me, I fucking been there, okay?
Oh yes, I have. I've been there. They're not meant to understand it. Maybe at some point they are. At that moment, at that juncture, where if you're trying to explain to them something that is not just typical rhetoric, over their head, no clue. Ain't nothing wrong with that though either. So if it's something along the lines of you wanting to talk about spirituality to someone who is residing and operating on predominantly the 3D plane, I'm gonna be honest, I would just say don't even go there, because they're not, it's like, it's not gonna compute, okay? It's not going to compute, gets nowhere. So this is in terms of like random conversation, or if let's say a 3D motherfucker is trying to understand you. Listen, their soul might not have signed up for that in this lifetime, as I said, so you just gotta let it go. If you still want to deal with them and discuss third dimensional things, by all means, ain't nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with a 3D predominant person. Nothing wrong with them in that sense. So they can get along just fine. They can have friendships, relationships, great career. They can be perfectly happy. Let's understand that, because it's just something that their soul did not strive to attain whilst they're in their physical vessel that you know them in now. So I would say just drop the fucking subject. They're not...
No.
Okay, you could get along with them, but just realize that it's only going to be so deep, all right? Or it's, in other words, going to be so elevated to like 4D, 5D and above. Because remember, the deeper you go, at the same time, the higher you ascend. So you dig deeper and you ascend higher. And some motherfuckers, they ain't on that boat. They don't care to be, they don't want to be. Leave it alone. Now, if you have someone who is in the 3D plane and they are a bothersome person in your experience, now here's the thing that you have to realize. They are not going to resonate with 5D energy, so you're gonna have to deal with them from a fourth dimensional standpoint. You're gonna have to use a little bit of energetic manipulation with them, okay? This is for the ones that are sort of in your experience, but they're not a positive vibe, right? Whereas like a regular third dimensional person, you don't mind getting along with them, like you're cool with them, there's no issues, it's just you know how far you can go in conversation and in depth with them. Totally different. So if you have someone now who is toxic and they're operating predominantly in the third dimensional realm, you, as someone who sees through the eye, you know more about how energy works. You're most likely someone who has already manifested a multitude of different things in your environment, and you understand that that individual who might be considered toxic, like let's say a coworker, someone like that, that you are dealing with, and they some energy that you can't stand. It's like they got some stank ass motherfucking energy. What you do is you go into that 4D state where now you are the magician, and you begin to mold and shape that person so that they conform the way that you desire them to conform to as. So is this manipulation? Yeah, you could look at it both ends of the way, because you want to get them to change so it can better you, but as you view them and as you manipulate them with your energy, they are going to reflect back to you a better version of them, because you already uplifted them with your energy. So what do I mean by this? Let's take, for example, if there is a certain coworker and you find them to be toxic, you get annoyed by them, they're just a fucking shithead. So you are someone who is operating knowing that you create your own reality. They are most likely someone who thinks that things happen to them, whereas you realize that things happen because of you, because of them, because of the seeker. So you automatically in a situation like that are just going to have more power than they do over the situation. Not because they themselves are denied that same power from source, because everyone has it available to them at all times. It's just that they're so unaware of that power that you automatically are going to have the upper hand. So you have to calm down with your energy from 5D through 4D, and then from 4D, that's where the magic happens. That's like shapeshifter dimension, you know. You go in and you set a target, but how do you want them to behave differently? So I can say personally, when I have done this, and this is for just people that like I would see in general, I would see them in passing or whatever or whatnot. No one that I was really dealing with on a regular basis, because I mean, my circle
pretty legit my circle. I have to say, I'm bragging a little, you know, I love my circle.
But with individuals that I have dealt with personally on, you know, a sporadic basis, and let's say I wanted them to change because I didn't like the interactions that we would have, all I simply did was go into it. Okay, I know the next time that I'm going to see this person, what do I want out of it? That's what I would think prior to me having them in my experience, let's say. And I would think, okay, today's energetic transaction is going to flow smoother than I expected for myself and the other person, right? Because remember, everything has poles, so the other person is you. So if you want to change their behavior, you have to change yourself first, the way you view them. Because, and here's the thing that not a lot of motherfuckers wanna, you know, they don't wanna take a look at themselves, right? Because a lot of times when I found that I was looking at those sporadic encounters of people that I didn't really care for, I was like, wait, what's going on within me? Am I in some way bringing this out of them? And as soon as I was like, yes, Was I in somehow, some form, some fashion bringing this out of them? Because remember, the other person is always you. So if one is not having pleasant experiences with someone else, it's also a call to action to take a look at exactly what's going on within you. For example, let's say you're in the line at Starbucks and you don't like waiting in line.
That's me. I get impatient as fuck. I'm like, oh hell no, I was supposed to have that shit yesterday, you know?
But it would be me, let's say in that example, I'm going into Starbucks and I have to wait online and I'm pissed. So if I see the same barista every week when I go in, what's gonna happen? My energy, not necessarily about the barista themselves, but this is just, I'm using a light example. Obviously use what applies to you. And this is not something that me personally, I'm just saying if.
Cause I don't, Starbucks coffee, I don't know, I ain't about that shit.
I'm about coffee bean and tea leaf. So if I go into the coffee shop and I come in and I'm impatient, I just want to go in, get my stuff, be out, I don't want to wait in line, I'm bringing that type of energy, right? Where I'm already kind of on edge. I'm kind of already annoyed walking in, right? If I see a line. So what's going to happen is that no matter who I encounter, they're just going to reflect that back to me. So it might be something minor like that, okay? A mild annoyance or something that you're just, you don't like that. But what's going on within you? So if you're absolutely certain that you're looking at you and you're like, wait, this is just a toxic person, I have nothing to do with it, and there's still someone that you have to deal with, because I would say, listen, if you think a motherfucker toxic, you don't run from that motherfucker, because you're gonna save yourself a lot of fucking nonsense. So if this is someone you have to deal with, let's say coworker, then you would go in before you go into the office or whatever you're doing, before you're going into the Zoom chat.
Oh, this motherfucker, they're gonna say stupid shit. I don't like the way they eat fucking crackers, yo. I don't like the way they fucking sip their juice.
Do you ever see that meme? It's like you hate someone so much that like they could breathe and you're just like,
oh hell no, motherfucker, you breathing wrong.
So let's say it's someone like that, but you kind of have to deal with them. You can remove them from your experience too, which I will get to. And I don't mean like that. I don't mean, no. We ain't talking about no hit up in this bitch, okay? We talking about, gradually fading out, okay? So you would, let's say, go in and you would put the intention out there. Let's say, for example, the office example. So as I go to work today, I think about how smooth my interactions are going to be with XYZ, because all we're gonna do is nod at each other in the hallway and I'm gonna keep it moving and they're gonna keep it moving, right? Whatever you want to happen, right? Even if it's something that you just want them to stay out of your business, you would set the same intention. And because they're really being manipulated by you in that sense, but you're not manipulating them in a negative way, because remember, you want to look at it as they are another you. So why would you want to put that energy out there of something negative going on with them? Because it's really going to be you, right? Because the energy doesn't know. Energy just is. Energy is all encompassing. It's not going to separate them from you. So if you want it to be the smoothest way, you would just set an intention to have at bare minimum the littlest contact that you can possibly have with that person, and say it's going to go smoothly for both of us because we're going to have minimal contact or no contact at all today, right? For me, I would notice that when I would do this with people I would see randomly, I set an intention legit the next day. I was like, the next time I go there, it's going to be pleasant and smooth and however I wanted it to go. Guess what? Smiling face, pleasant interaction, eye contact, just no issues. And prior to that, I would say it would have to be like for a few months, it was just like stank attitude going on. This is like a long time ago, okay? Now, I would say vibrate to an extent where someone like that wouldn't even be able to be near you, right? Like attracts like. If you're not carrying that within you, then it can't attract you. But if it is someone who I would maybe classify as like a toxic fucking tornado, where it's just, they all jacked up for whatever reason, and you're in like an office setting where it's like they're there, you're not doing anything, but the more you emit your vibration, even if it's just to get that motherfucker out of your hair, like, we will not have contact today, right? Like you set an intention prior to dealing with them. So what happens on the receiving end? How does this person receive that type of energy when you're sort of manipulating them? Well, they're gonna feel the same way you are about the situation, because if everyone is another you, this is a good one to remember, especially in like
a romantical type of relationship.
If everyone is you, if you're having whatever type of energy towards someone, right? Like, you can view a toxic person and impartially be like, okay, I see what's going on with that, I'm gonna just keep my distance. That's not you feeding that energy to them, right? That's not you being toxic. That's you even looking for the most positive quality out of that toxic individual that you have to deal with. You're like, at least they sit way over in the corner and my cubicle is over here. If it's the littlest thing, find the most positive thing, and that other individual who you can't stand to be around, that third dimensional ass motherfucker, what's gonna happen is that immediately they're gonna feel that shift within you in relation to them. So they are gonna start feeling more positive about you, which is a win-win situation. So I know that if it's someone you really can't stand and you're like, oh, it's all them, and you know that, look for the most positive thing. I promise you. You just fixate on that. Oh, yeah, we just nodded at each other today. I didn't have to talk to that motherfucker. You know, whatever it is, okay? You set an intention prior to when you know you're gonna deal with them. And this could be the same thing if you're like in a living situation, or if it, you know, you can take this to any relationship that you have with someone else, okay? Even if it's like a bus driver or something. You know what I mean? You look at the most positive thing about them and you carry that with you as soon as you enter the space or as soon as you see them. Boom, go your own way, don't look, keep walking, everything is calm, right? And then you don't focus on them, you keep walking, everything is calm, and they don't even notice you walking down the hallway, right? It's sort of like your energies aren't going to interfere. So what's going to happen is that that person is going to start becoming more neutral to you, and you are creating that version of them which is not going to harm them in any way, because you're like, I don't want to be near you, motherfucker, like that's it. And so they're going to be feeling that same shit. Well, I don't want to be near you either, but not in a negative way where it's like a hostile situation. You know, you gotta be fucking neutral about it. Like, the less interaction I have with them, the better. Okay, I'm gonna keep it moving. Just keep it moving, but set an intention before you know that you are going to encounter them. So I tell you, I shit you not, you do that, because I've done it from personal experience. The more you view someone from a place of peace, the more peaceful your interactions with them are going to become. Find the tiniest thing, maybe a week later you're gonna find something else that's positive with them, right? If you concentrate on the tiniest thing, oh, we didn't interact today, okay, cool, then you know what, maybe they go on vacation, they're out of the office for 2 weeks the next week, right? And then that is how you get them to conform to your will, and that is also how you can get someone out of your experience. And the weirdest things will occur that will bring that person out of your experience if you just stop focusing on them, because remember, energy flows where attention goes. So the less attention you give them, or if you just say an intention, that person is going to find another job far away from here, they're going to be happier over there, I'm going to be happier because I don't have to deal with them. If you do something like that and you just let it go, again, that's an intention. And it's not an intention for a malicious purpose, because remember, if that other person is an aspect of you, you're like, as long as they're far away from me and I don't have to deal with them, I'm happy, they're happy, it's all good. Everything works out for the best of both. So the most important thing I would say when you are doing this, you want to project onto someone else that which you want to receive back. So if you think someone is a toxic individual, it's fine to stay away from them, but at the same time, don't focus or fixate on the toxic qualities that they have, because then that's gonna just embellish that type of energy and it's going to gravitate more to you. So the best thing to do, set an intention. I have peace within me when I see this person, because I know they stay out of my way and I stay out of theirs. And the more you do that, like conscious intention in regards to that person, you're either going to notice a rapid change right away, that all of a sudden your interactions with them are actually pleasant, or they will just start slowly fading away, and that is how you remove them from your experience. So that's what I got for you today in regards to 3D motherfuckers. I am Oculus, the alien next door. We will chit chat again soon.